Welcome to Mastermind Conversations, a Pro Insights podcast, powered by Geek in New York, where we don't just talk, we geek it. We break down complex topics, research from trusted sources, and bring your expert insights, real-life stories, and actionable tips, all in a clear and engaging way. So get ready, it's time to geek it with Mastermind Conversations.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for our fourth deep dive. Now this one is going to be all about resolving those conflicts in relationships.
That's right. You know, we've been exploring all these tools from resilient couples coaching.
Right.
That's our center that focuses on CBT and mindfulness and how all that can help couples, you know, strengthen and deepen their love.
Absolutely. And this time we're getting practical.
Yes.
We're going deep into advice from relationship experts to give you guys listening at home some real-world tips.
That's right. We've got kind of a mix of like classic books here, Getting the Love You Want, 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, The Anatomy of Peace, Fight. And even Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Yes, a classic.
A classic. So get ready.
You ready?
For surprising insight.
Okay, so let's unpack this. One of the most fascinating ideas, I think, comes from Harville Hendrix' book, Getting the Love You Want.
Yes.
And he talks about this idea of the imago. Have you heard of this?
Oh, yes.
So this is this unconscious image we have of our ideal partner,
right,
often shaped by
our childhood caregivers.
It's so interesting.
It is fascinating how those early experiences can really influence who we are drawn to.
It's true.
And Hendrix actually suggests that we often choose partners who resemble our caretakers.
Really?
Even if those relationships were challenging, it's like we're subconsciously trying to resolve unfinished business from our past.
So it's not just about finding somebody who ticks all the boxes on our list.
Right.
It's about recognizing these deeper patterns that are driving our choices.
Exactly.
But how do we even begin to understand our own imago?
Right.
It seems so deeply buried.
Well, Hendrix suggests kind of exploring your relationship history and looking for any recurring themes and patterns.
Okay.
He gives this really compelling example of a woman named Leah,
okay,
who consistently chose emotionally unavailable partners.
Oh, wow.
Mirroring her relationship with her father.
Interesting.
And by becoming aware of this pattern,
yeah,
she was able to make more conscious choices in her relationships.
That's so powerful. Recognizing those unconscious influences can be a real game changer.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. John Gottman, in 7 Principles, introduces this concept called love maps.
Love maps, yes.
Tell us about love maps.
Okay, so love maps are basically these detailed mental maps we create of our partner's inner worlds, their history, their dreams, worries, joys, all of those things that make them who they are.
Yeah.
It's like having this personalized guidebook.
I love that.
To your partner's heart and mind.
Okay, so we've got these maps, but like any map, they need to be updated, right? Life happens, people change, we need to keep up.
Absolutely. Gottman emphasizes that the more detailed and up-to-date our love maps are,
yeah,
the stronger our connection will be.
That makes sense.
And he provides practical exercises in the book.
Oh, wonderful.
Like the Who Am I questionnaire.
I love that.
And weekly rituals to help couples strengthen those love maps.
I love the idea of these rituals. It's like creating that dedicated time to connect on a deeper level, going beyond that. How was your day? These are the couples who just get each other.
Right.
You know, they anticipate their partner's needs and respond with empathy and understanding.
That's a great observation, and it highlights the importance of not just knowing the basic facts about our partner, but truly understanding what makes them tick, what lights them up, what makes them feel loved and appreciated.
So moving beyond those surface-level interactions and really delving into the depths of our partner's being.
Exactly. And that's where Gottman's principle of fondness and admiration comes in.
Oh, I love that.
It's about actively focusing on and appreciating our partner's positive qualities, even amidst those disagreements and frustrations.
And this reminds me of something we explored in The Anatomy of Peace.
Oh, yes.
By the Arbinger Institute.
Yes.
They talk about the choice to see people as people, not as objects.
So important.
And it's so easy, especially during conflict, to reduce our partner to just a set of annoying behaviors or traits.
Right. The Arbinger Institute calls this being in the box.
Okay.
When we see our partner as the obstacle to our happiness and we dehumanize them,
yeah,
and it becomes almost impossible to find resolution.
One of the stories that really stuck with me through The Anatomy of Peace was Yusuf's experience with Mordechai, a fellow prisoner.
Oh, yes.
Initially, Yusuf saw Mordechai as just another annoyance, you know.
Right.
But then something shifted, and he found himself extending kindness to him.
It's a powerful example of how our perspective can change everything. It wasn't about Mordecai changing.
Right.
It was about Yusuf choosing to see him as a person deserving of compassion.
And that's a great reminder that we always have that choice.
Yes.
In how we perceive our partner.
Absolutely.
Even in the heat of the moment.
Yes.
But let's get real. Sometimes those conflicts can get pretty heated.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking about the Gottman's work in Fight.
Oh, yeah.
Where they identify those different conflict styles.
Yes.
Avoiders,
yes.
validators, and volatiles.
It's so helpful to understand these different styles, both our own and our partners.
I agree.
Avoiders, as you might guess, prefer to steer clear of conflict altogether.
Makes sense.
Validators are all about empathy and understanding.
Okay.
While volatiles bring a lot of passion and energy to their disagreements.
I can already see how mismatched conflict styles could lead to some serious communication breakdowns.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine an avoider paired with a volatile.
Oh.
That's a recipe for frustration.
Exactly. And the Gottmans offer some great insights into how to navigate those differences.
They do.
They also introduce the concept of meta-emotions.
Yes.
Which are our feelings about feelings.
Our feelings about feelings, yes.
Okay, meta-emotions, that sounds a bit complex. Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine you grew up in a family where anger was never expressed.
Okay.
You might develop this meta-emotion of fear or anxiety around anger, making it really difficult to engage in conflict in a healthy way.
So it's not just about whether we're an avoider or volatile. It's about understanding that deeper emotional baggage we bring to the table.
Precisely. And Fight Right actually provides tools for identifying those meta-emotion modes and developing healthier ways of handling conflict, even when those old patterns get triggered.
That's really helpful, but that's not all.
No.
Fight Right also delves into a fascinating concept.
Yes.
Called dreams within conflict.
Dreams within conflict.
Tell me more. It sounds almost poetic.
It is a little bit. It's this idea that beneath those seemingly intractable conflicts, there are often these hidden dreams, longings, and values that are driving our positions.
So it's not just about who's right or wrong.
Right.
It's about understanding those deeper motivations and fears that are fueling the conflict.
Exactly. For example, they share a story about a couple, Vince and Jenny, who are battling over where to live.
Okay, classic.
Vince dreams of sailing the world.
Oh, fun.
While Jenny longs to be near family on their farm.
Oh, okay. So very different dreams.
Yeah, it seems impossible to reconcile those desires, right?
It does sound like a classic clash of dreams. I'm hooked. What happens next?
Well, through exploring their dreams within conflict, they uncover the underlying needs driving their desires.
Okay.
Vince realizes his dream is partly about freedom and escaping feeling trapped.
I see.
While Jenny's is rooted in a need for connection and belonging.
Okay.
And once those deeper needs are understood, they find a way to honor both of their dreams.
That's amazing. So it's like those seemingly irreconcilable differences can actually become pathways to deeper understanding and intimacy.
Exactly. But before we dive deeper into that, let's take a little break.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll explore some more practical tips from these experts on how to navigate those heated moments when conflict arises. Stay tuned.
All right. See you soon.
Welcome back. It's amazing how understanding those hidden dreams within conflict can shift everything.
It really is. It's like those seemingly insurmountable obstacles can just melt away when we tap into that deeper level of understanding.
Yes.
But, let's face it, conflicts can get messy.
They do.
And sometimes we need some strategies for those moments when emotions run high.
Yes.
Those times when we just feel like we're drowning in feelings.
Yeah.
And rational thought just goes out the window.
You describing what the Gottmans and Fight Right call flooding.
Flooding.
It's that physiological response to feeling overwhelmed and threatened.
Okay.
And it can really hijack our ability to communicate effectively.
Oh, yeah.
Our fight or flight response takes over, and we're no longer able to access those rational parts of our brain.
It's like our emotional circuits just get overloaded and we short circuit.
Right.
So what do we do when we're in that flooded state?
Well, the first step is recognizing it.
Okay.
Notice those physical signs like a racing heart, shallow breathing, that feeling of being completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Once you realize you're flooded, Fight Right recommends taking a timeout.
A timeout?
A timeout.
Like we're back in kindergarten.
Well, kind of, but it's about giving yourself permission to step away from the conflict, to calm down and regain your composure.
Okay.
It's not about giving up on the conversation, but about hitting the pause button so you can come back with a clearer head.
So it's like saying, hold on, my system is overloaded. I need to reboot before we can continue this conversation.
Exactly.
But what about when our partner is the one who's flooded?
Right.
How do we help them regulate their emotions?
That's where empathy and understanding come in.
Okay.
Remember, when someone is flooded, their rational brain is offline.
Okay.
So trying to reason with them or argue your point is only going to escalate things.
Yeah.
Instead, focus on validating their feelings and making them feel safe. You could say something like, I can see you're really upset. It's okay to take a break. We can talk later when we're both calmer.
So it's about meeting them where they are emotionally, not where we want them to be?
Exactly.
But is there anything we can do to prevent flooding in the first place?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it seems like if we can avoid getting to that point of emotional overwhelm,
yes,
we'll have a much better chance of resolving conflicts effectively.
Absolutely. One of the most effective ways to prevent flooding is to create a culture of appreciation and respect in your relationship.
Okay.
This is where Gottman's ideas about love maps and shaunness and admiration come in.
Right.
The more we understand and appreciate our partner, the less likely we are to trigger those defensive reactions that lead to flooding.
It's like those everyday gestures of love and appreciation kind of build up our emotional immunity.
Yes.
Making us more resilient to conflict.
Exactly. And those gestures don't have to be grand.
Right.
It's often the little things that matter most. A genuine compliment, helping with a chore, truly listening when your partner needs to talk.
And this is reminding me of John Gray's concept of love bank accounts for men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Oh, yes.
Every interaction is either a deposit or withdrawal.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Those acts of kindness and appreciation are like deposits building up a reserve of goodwill.
Okay.
And those moments of criticism, blame, or neglect are like withdrawals depleting that reserve.
And picturing those couples who are just constantly bickering.
Yeah.
It's like they've overdrawn their love bank account.
Right.
And they're now in a state of emotional bankruptcy.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
And Gray's emphasizes that it's so much easier to navigate conflict when that love bank account is full.
Right.
When we feel loved, appreciated, and respected, we're more generous and forgiving.
It seems like all of these experts, despite their different approaches, are pointing to the importance of cultivating a positive emotional climate in our relationships.
That's such a key insight. It's not just about learning how to fight fair.
Right.
It's about learning how to love well.
And that includes understanding how to speak each other's love languages.
Yes.
Remember Gray's idea that men often need approval?
Yes.
While women crave validation.
Exactly.
So men might feel loved when they're admired and respected, while women might feel loved when they're heard and understood.
Right.
And when those needs aren't met, it can easily lead to conflict.
Exactly. It's about recognizing those differences and learning how to express love and appreciation in ways that resonate with our partner.
Absolutely.
But let's not forget the power of humor.
Oh, yeah.
Even amidst conflict.
Yes.
Those lighthearted moments can help diffuse tension and remind us that we're on the same team.
That's so important. This is also helpful. But I'm wondering, is there like a magic formula for conflict resolution? Some kind of one-size-fits-all approach?
I wish there were.
Yeah.
But the truth is, there's no magic bullet.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you and your partner, whether it's taking a timeout, using soften startup, injecting humor, or simply remembering to make those deposits into the love bank account.
So it's about being flexible, adaptable, and willing to experiment.
Exactly. And always remembering that conflict, while challenging, can be an opportunity for growth and deeper connection.
That's such a good point. Speaking of deeper connection.
Yes.
There's a powerful technique from Hendrix's Getting the Love You Want that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
The imago dialogue.
Oh, yes.
Are you ready to explore that?
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so we're back and ready to dive into this imago dialogue.
Yes.
Sounds like a powerful tool for navigating those tricky conversations.
It really is. It's a structured way for couples to talk to each other, especially when things get tough.
Okay.
So that they can truly listen and understand each other.
So it's like creating a safe space where we can express ourselves without that fear of judgment or interruption.
Exactly.
I'm already feeling calmer just thinking about it.
It's a 3-step process.
Okay.
First, one person shares their feelings.
Okay.
While the other listens attentively.
Okay.
No interrupting, no problem solving, no giving advice.
Got it.
Just pure focused listening. And as you listen, you mirror back what you're hearing to make sure you're getting it.
So it's like we're holding up a mirror to our partner's experience, reflecting back their emotions and helping them feel truly heard and seen.
That's a great way to put it. And once the speaker feels heard, the listener moves on to step 2, validation. This is about acknowledging that their feelings are valid, even if you don't agree with their perspective.
So it's not about saying you're right.
Right.
But it's about saying, I understand why you feel that way.
Exactly.
It's about meeting them where they are emotionally.
Precisely. And the final step is empathy. This is where you try to put yourself in your partner's shoes and imagine what it's like to experience the world from their point of view.
And this reminds me of that concept we talked about earlier from the Anatomy of Peace.
Yes.
Seeing people as people.
Yes.
When we practice empathy, we're stepping outside of our own limited perspective and really trying to understand our partner's experience.
That's a powerful connection, and Hendrix believes this 3-step process can be incredibly transformative.
Okay.
It shifts the dynamic from defensiveness and blame to understanding and connection. It's like building this bridge of empathy between two different worlds.
This all sounds amazing in theory.
Right.
But I'm a bit of a pragmatist.
Okay.
Are there any specific phrases or techniques that can help us navigate this imago dialogue?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's helpful to have those verbal cues.
Hendrix provides a whole toolbox of helpful phrases.
Okay, great.
For instance, when you're mirroring back what you've heard, you might say, let me see if I understand you're feeling this because,
Okay.
you know.
So we're not just parroting back their words, we're trying to capture the essence of their experience.
Exactly. And when you're validating their feelings, you might say, it makes sense that you would feel that way given.
So it's about acknowledging the validity of their emotional experience.
Right.
Even if we have a different interpretation of the situation.
Right. And when you're practicing empathy, you could say, I can imagine that it would feel, it's about trying to step into their emotional world and connect with their feelings.
I love these phrases. It's like a script for compassionate communication. This makes me think about all those times I reacted defensively when my partner was trying to express their feelings.
Yeah.
If I had known about this imago dialogue, then maybe I could have responded with more empathy and understanding.
It's never too late to learn new skills.
That's true.
And remember, the more you practice the imago dialogue, the more natural it will become.
This is so encouraging. It's like we're being given this roadmap to deeper connection and understanding. But is this just for resolving conflict? Can we use the imago dialogue for everyday conversations too?
Absolutely. It's a fantastic tool for building intimacy and connection in any area of your relationship. It's about creating a culture of empathy and understanding in your communication.
Wow, this is really resonating with me. It's like we're being given the keys to unlock this whole new level of communication in our relationships. But before we wrap up, is there anything else from our stack of expert advice that you think is essential for our listeners to remember?
I think it's crucial to remember that relationships are a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
There will be ups and downs, moments of harmony and moments of discord. The key is to approach those challenges with a spirit of curiosity and compassion.
That's such a beautiful reminder. It's about embracing the imperfections and seeing those bumps in the road as opportunities for growth.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. There are incredible resources available like Resilient Couples Coaching, our center that uses CBT and mindfulness to help you build stronger, more fulfilling relationships.
Well said. And on that note of hope and empowerment, we'll wrap up our deep dive into conflict resolution and relationships. It's been an amazing journey exploring the wisdom of these incredible relationship experts and uncovering these practical tools for building more loving and connected partnerships.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration. Remember, you have the power to create positive change in your relationship, so keep learning, keep practicing, and keep loving with all your heart.
That's a wrap for this episode of Mastermind Conversations, a Pro Insights podcast powered by Geek in New York, where we don't just talk, we geek it. We hope you gain valuable insights, learn something new, and are ready to apply it in business and life. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. It helps us bring you even more great content. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and always geek it.